Can you have a KTM in the garage 3 times in 1 week? The answer is yes. And let me explain. Probably you have seen the ZXR 400 review. If you did, welcome back. If not, check it out. It's just my previous video. For context and to explain in very short terms what I do here, I'm Tia. I have been riding motorbikes for 2 seasons. This is my 3rd season. And right now I have a bit of a journey with my bikes because my previous bike broke down and I bought a new motorbike that is not working with the hopes that I'm going to repair it. So in a very brief summary, this page is gonna be about someone who loves motorbikes and will do anything to ride one. And that's why today's subject will be the KTM RC390, which I bought a while ago, and what I thought is going to be 1 day spent in the garage to get it back on the road turned out to be 3 sessions in the garage. There are a few reasons on why I bought this KTM RC390, even though in some people's eyes I downgraded. For me, this is moving my journey forward with motorbikes. First of all, it came from RC Motorcycles, which if you don't know about them, check them out. They're a pre-loved motorbike dealership based in Watford. I decided to buy this RC390 that is not working and basically try to sort it out myself in their garage. Even if it's a sports bike because it's brace-centered 390, it's still a very torquey motorbike, and I wanted to see how that feels like, because if you have tried an inline 4 before, you know optimal torque range would be over like 8,000 RPM. But with the RC390, you can have the power of a 47 brake horsepower motorbike from 2,000, 3,000 RPM. The second reason why I wanted to buy this 390 is because this is a very, very lightweight motorcycle. It's around 170 kilograms curb weight, and dry weight it should be 150. The third reason to get it, which is kind of related to the first 2 reasons, is with this little machine, I would be able to ride it to its full potential and get better at cornering. I'm not saying that the ZXR won't do that, but this is the best practice that you can get, because right now this is my 3rd season, and what I'm planning to do is that I want to make sure I have all the fundamentals down and then I can start building on it. So I've done like extra training. There's a really good course called Eye2Eye Academy, which is machine control. I've done it with my ZX6R, which was amazing. And I feel like with the KTM RC390, that is the type of fun that you don't really get with a really big bike. You don't understand the excitement I had with this bike when I realized I have the opportunity to get it, because it had some damage to it that is basic. It's not something that I had to diagnose that much. And it was something that made me more knowledgeable about how you can actually do the work yourself. And this is what I'm going to do in this video. I'm just going to explain what I've done to the RC390, because when I recorded the content, I actually didn't realize I have music in the background and I don't have license for music. Rather than getting this video taken down in 6 months, a year from now, I'm just going to take the audio out and I'm just gonna kind of like do some voiceovers over it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride. Now, the first thing about the RC390 is that we realized it's not starting and that it's leaking fluid from the fork seals. So there were 2 main things that we had to do right away: to buy new fork seals, and 2, to buy a new battery. Now, because it has been leaking for a while, I also decided to change the brake pads, because sometimes it will leak on the brake caliper if you're not paying attention, if you don't put a cloth over it or anything like that right away. That might compromise front braking, which is basically 80% of your braking power, or even more. So I had to view it as a Lego, let's call it. You just look at the front of the motorbike and you start taking things out in order. The order that I have came with was to take the mudguard out, do the brake pads, so take them out, take the axle off so the wheel can come off, and then you can actually take the forks out. I'm doing them from the top and just loosening the bolts from the inside. While the forks were out, I've also changed the brake pads. I had to undo the forks, take all the fork fluid out, give it a really good clean, and then using a screwdriver, pop the seal out. Once you do that, you have to be very careful, because if you're not paying attention, you're gonna break this new seal as you put it back in. After you do that, you need to fill it back with fork oil. Now, the hardest bit here is that after you put the fork oil in, you have to make sure there is no air left and you have to kind of like squeeze it back in. Now, this is something that I will be completely honest, if you're not strong, you're not going to be able to do it, because the way that you pump it has to actually break the seal of the air compartment that has been created by emptying it out beforehand. When you put them back in, it will be great if you try to rotate them back in, so you kind of like wiggle them back. Once you have them in and you tighten them to the specifications, the only thing that is left is basically to try to put the wheel back on. Because of all of this stuff, the lunch break came in really late. The last bit was to replace the battery because it wasn't starting, but we just hoped for the best and thought that this is actually a problem with the battery because it's almost dead. And after replacing the battery, this happened. And the next video will most probably be one of my first rides with the KTM, which is going to be very exciting. And I'll see you next time.